Hey, what's going on? Just another little 3D inspiration video here, a bit of 3D art for the fun of it. This is my reimagining of Loom. Only one frame from it from the very beginning. I grew up playing LucasArts adventure games. They have a very special place in my heart, and I still replay them. There's nothing quite like a LucasArts. There's nothing quite like a LucasArts adventure game. And Loom is a very, very special game. This is what I did for a bit of fun when I was actually doing my master's in computer animation. I started off, this was one of my first projects actually to start me off, and it included a little bit of everything with lighting and sculpting with the rocks and using Substance Painter for the textures and baking the normal maps and all that kind of stuff. So I chose to reimagine Loom, and I like it. I think it came out pretty damn good. Although I'm not fully satisfied with the rocks, but I'm pretty happy with it as it is. There's a very, very slight haze that I added as well. There's kind of there's like a purple haze. This is a very common theme in LucasArts games at the time. I don't know why or if it was intentional or what, but there was always this purpley haze. It was in the first Monkey Island as well. Pink and purples were in there in Loom. Anyway, I digress. So anyway, that's my final render there. I'm going to show you what the scene looks like, how I bashed it all together. Just quickly, these are some of the renders along the way. As you can see, the rocks, I had a lot more detail on the rocks before, like dirt maps and stuff. But first of all, I don't think they look the dirt isn't in the right places for wear and tear of a giant boulder. Second of all, this part of the image at the front here looks too real. It looks like I'm trying to make it super real, but it's not. The rest of the image doesn't follow in with that. It's not supposed to look real. So I feel like the attention when you look at this image, your eyes are taken right to those rocks at the front because of all the details. So I got rid of that in later versions, made a much smoother sort of boulder. I like that. It's a bit more hazy, but a lot brighter. The rocks are a lot brighter. And now, because the rocks are so bright here, it almost feels like white space. So it doesn't quite work. Anyway, and this was me just testing out, looking at what the textures looked up close. I mean, they're nothing special. That's why I say I'm not trying to recreate real life. It's about creating a look and a feel. So when you look at the picture as a whole, it's satisfying. These are some of the early images of me working on it. This was a volume test to see the haze I put in. I quite like that. Oh, there's me copying over the top of it. There we go. Yep. This tree took quite a while. I'm sure I could do it much quicker nowadays, but it took me a while back then. I could have just drawn the shape. I didn't draw the shape. I did what a noob would do, and I went through the whole thing and did it all manually and extruded it all manually across the thing instead of just drawing the outline and then extruding it. I didn't do that. I did it all the hard way. I did this whole scene the hard way. So I'm going to show you the scene now. This is the scene. It's quite something, quite a big mess, but it works. Like I've said before in my other video, it's about creating a look. It's not about having everything professionally set up and perfect. Well, if you can get the final look you're looking for, then fair enough. Whatever method you use is fair enough. When you're creating a still image, these aren't game assets or anything. They're going to be used in any kind of production. So I've got the water over here, and that's the sun there, setting sun. And I have a sky dome sort of set up. That's one of them is a volume. I'm trying to work out what everything is here because it's been right. That's the sky dome, and then this here actually is for the stars. This is a particle system to create the stars that you see in the sky. I don't even know if this is all plugged in. Is it going to work? Okay, the rocks are the wrong color, but fair enough. The rest of it's working. Let's have a look at this tree, shall we? Yep, very high poly count, really. Well, it's not too high poly count, actually. It's not too bad. That's not too bad. That's all right. Where's the seams? There, we've got the UV seams there. There we go. You see it better now. There you go. I put the seam right on the fine edge. Yeah. No. So yeah, I just used the basic human base mesh that you can get for free off Turbo Squid or whatever to build this Bobbin Threadbare, his name is. You know, standard procedure, clothing. I've attached the cloth to the model so that it deforms with it, right? Drape it on him, paint the weights. Well, at least here I had the decency to use a curve to make the rope around his waist. Brilliant. Very basic, yeah. It's all about the normal maps on this, in this project, really. I believe these are part of the rock as particles. Yes, so here we go. So we have gravel, grass blades. So these are all particle systems on the rocks. Okay, same for these ones, part of the rock. Now, obviously I sculpted these and put all these little scratches and details in manually. And everything here has been moved into Substance Painter and painted in Substance Painter. There are dirt maps and things, but I can't see them very well on this. But as you can see, very basic. Very, very basic. And just bake the high poly normals onto the low poly meshes. And then back here for these mountains. Now, because in the original you can see all this detail of like trees and rocks, and you can see that here that, and again, particle, it's all particle system. It's all a particle system. And then I have manually placed trees around it, as you can see. You can see it all properly now. So I've manually placed these little trees. And we have a path there. Very basic stuff, see? Just a very simple plane. These rocks are just icospheres. Yeah, they're just basic icospheres. Yeah. I think, where's the main driver? I think it's there. No, that's for that one. There'll be one somewhere. Is it that one then? Oh, it is that one. Ah, I see. Well, anyway. There you go, 3 little mountains. The water is just a standard ocean modifier. It's just a standard Blender ocean modifier. And the backdrop, I believe, what am I not, I can't select it. Oh, why do I do this to myself? And this is just this is just a gradient. The sky background is just a gradient, just a plane with a gradient. So yeah, that's Loom Reimagined. And I'm using a HDRI for the overall lighting. Well, this is the reference that I was working from originally. So as you can see here, the mountain in the background with the trees. Okay, you can't see many rocks, but I chucked that in myself, added the rock detail. Sort of, you can see more of the mountain in my one, and there's that little path there, that tiny bit of rock here protruding out. The tree up there, I followed the shape of the tree quite nicely. I think I did all right, especially for my first attempt at the beginning of my course. This is a good few years ago now, this. But every now and then I look back at it because I actually quite liked it. I can't believe the amount of work it took me. It certainly wouldn't take me that amount of work now, but it took me an awful lot of work back then. And that concludes this little video. Again, just a quick 3D art video to inspire anyone to just have a go, start putting it together. Try and get that look you're looking for any way you can. Don't worry about doing everything by the book and doing it properly. If you get the end result, you get the end result. You learn loads of lessons along the way. Yeah. Thanks for watching.